to make our photographer's light box, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need some 1/2-inch PVC pipe, and if you go to a Lowe's or Home Depot, they will cut this for you. You might call ahead of time just to make sure there's somebody there that can help you and do this for you. At my Lowe's, they cut it free of charge, which was great. I just had these big things like gigantic scissors sort of things, and they just lopped them off for me. If you do it at home, I don't know, you're going to need a little saw of some kind, and you'll have to sand at the ends to get all of the little rough spots off. Mine had no rough spots because they cut them really well. You're going to need 4 of these little T-joiners. You see how it looks like a little T? Like that, okay? We're going to need 4 of those. You are going to need 4 of these little cap ends. Makes like a little foot sort of for the end of your legs. It's kind of smooth, and yeah, little cap ends. You are going to need 4 elbows. All of this, make sure it's for the 1/2-inch pipe because they're different sizes. This is called a street elbow joint, or yeah, street elbow. The difference being different than regular elbows because this is kind of an outie and this is an innie. Something's going to stick into that and something's going to stick over that. Okay, you'll see when we put it together. All of this together cost me under $10. Well under $10. I have not gotten my receipt out yet to look for it, and see what the exact price was, but it was very cheap to get all of this. This was one that we got that was incorrect. It's a street elbow, just like the rest of them, but as you can see, maybe you can see, it's a little bit of a darker color. It's more of a cream color or a beige. It was wrong. It's made for the 1/2-inch, but it's made for a different kind of pipe, I guess, and it's just a little bit too big on one end and a little bit too small on the other. It's different. Be sure that you get the right thing. Try it before you buy it. Now, when you get this cut, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 23 inches long, 2 pieces that are 16 inches long, and 4 that are 23. Now the 4 will be your legs. If you want this whole thing to be taller, then, you know, figure it out and make the legs longer. That's fine. I'm going by the directions on the guy's website. Now, it very well may be that I end up needing longer legs, but it'll just cost me $1 or $2 to go and get another pipe cut. So that's no big whoop. You will also need some clamps. Now, I almost bought some, but everything I saw at the store was really too heavy duty. These, I believe, are made to go on rollers, like hair rollers. My mom came home with them one day from somewhere or another and thought that we could find some kind of use for them, and it seems that I perhaps have. I have not done this entire project yet, so we're going to learn together, okay? But I think, you know, you can find something. A clothespin will be too small, but you can go to probably beauty supply store to get something like this if this ends up working really well, or you can go to an office supply store and find some kind of big clampy clip. The guy actually wanted us to put some metal screws, sheet metal screws in the pipe, and then punch holes in the paper and hang it from the screws, but that seemed a little too much for me, so I'm going for the clamps. I'm going to try clamps with it. Now, he also suggested some floodlights, but I didn't have the money today to invest in floodlights, so I got some 60-watt reveal bulbs. It's supposed to give really pretty clear white illumination instead of sort of a yellowy tone like most incandescent bulbs do. He also said that you can use those spirally energy efficient fluorescent bulbs. I have not tried that yet. Haven't tried any of it yet. But so I got these to give them a shot. They're kind of purpley looking. Weird, huh? We'll see how they work. And you are going to need a couple of lamps. These are just cheap gooseneck desk lamps. You can get the clamp-on kind, I suppose, if you have somewhere to clamp stuff. I think my sister is using a couple of doors in her house that are real near each other to clamp lights on. But I think for this, probably to have something that you can actually set down is going to be a lot better. No bulbs in them yet. Take care of that in a minute. You are going to need some white fabric. You can buy a cheap single bed size sheet. A pillowcase might work. I'm not sure. I haven't measured and checked that out. My fabric is actually in the dryer right now drying. You can always experiment with other things. We're going to use the white bed sheeting though. I think you might be able to use sheer curtains, which you can find just white sheer curtains at most thrift stores. You could maybe also find a sheet at a thrift store, some white fabric. It's up to you. Sheets are pretty cheap nowadays. If you go to Walmart and get their cheapest thing, that will work just fine. Now while we're waiting for the sheet to dry, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to assemble this thing. First, you're going to take one of your longest pieces, which is the 23-inch, and you're going to take one of the middle size pieces, which is your 16-inch one. You're going to take one of your T-pipes, and you're going to put the long end in like that. You see the other end in there. I'm going to leave that one empty. You'll see later what that goes to. So we have a long side and a shorter side. Hey, if you want to change the dimensions of this, absolutely do so. It's up to you. Okay, so essentially I have a giant L shape here. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my other parts. My other long piece is going to go, let's see, how did I do that? I put the long piece into the bottom part of the T, and then the shorter piece goes like that. Let's see if I can show you this way. There we go. Shove it on there. Now the directions on the website had us, and you can twist this too to get it where it's laying flat. The guy had us using a special PVC glue, and I actually purchased some, and then I realized when I got home they stay together really well. I don't think I'm going to need the glue, and I would like to be able to break it all down, because essentially everything for this except for the lamps fits just into like a Walmart bag, and I can just hang it up in my closet or wherever, stuff it under the bed, put rubber bands around the pipes, whatever. It just packs away really well. Now, on these open ends, you're going to take these little street joints, little street elbow joints that we purchased, and the small end, which should be called the male end, which I think is kind of crude, but that's the way it is, fits into there like that. Okay? And you do that on all of your corners. Okay, now your whole top is assembled. That's it. Now, where your get your 4 short pieces, and they are 14 inches long. And you grab your little caps, and you know what to do with those. Oh, and I forgot to tell you one thing. When you get all these connector pieces, please be really careful and don't get any that are threaded. Look inside of here and make sure that there's no threading, because if you get threading, then the part that goes into it is going to have, like, this is where our leg's going to go. These are all legs, and if you got a threaded elbow, you would have to get another piece that would fit inside of here and stick out and also have threading, so you could screw that in, right? So don't get the threaded pieces unless you just particularly want to buy the end that would have to go in there and come out with threading also. Because if you get some threaded stuff and some not threaded stuff, it's not going to go together. Just be sure and check that. Now, I'm sure I don't have to tell you, but I'll show you anyway. Here is our finished top, and the legs just go down in there like that. You see? What I'm going to do is try to kind of train the board, and this is just a cheap poster board, and I got it for like a $2 for $1 or something. I kind of train it around the pole just to kind of give it a little bit of a curve. Maybe even crimp it. You could just crimp it a little bit, I guess. And I think that will help to hold it on. Let's see. Pardon my arm. Let's see if that'll hold it then. Well, yeah, that's better. Hi, Mambo. Mambo's here to help. There. Now that's working. Whoops. Well, that's a relief. I don't have to use those big heavy clamps. Ta-da! So now I'm going to put it on the back where it belongs, and then I'll show you what comes next. And there we go. And of course, Mambo could not resist being my model. If he were a little bit shorter, I could probably use it to photograph him. on to step 2. And you can see this is poster board. It just goes down and out. See, he's sitting on it and it's behind him. That's so much better than a crease. A nice curve makes a good background. Oh my goodness, he'll probably pull it off of there here in a minute. I'm gonna have to banish him. The next step is to put some sheet around the sides, and I'll probably put it over the top as well. Just drape it over. If you want to get really fancy, you can cut it, you know, measure it, cut it, and make it fitted like a almost like a pillowcase, like a box thing that would go down over all of this and just be open on the bottom. But I'm not going to get that fancy. I'll show you when I get it done. Alright, Mambo, shoo! And there's the next step. I have the sheet going up and over. So we have kind of a little tent. Now I'm going to set up the lights. Alright, I've got everything set up. All I have to do now is turn on these lights, which I have positioned right next to it. I really am thinking this is awfully short. I may have to make another one. But it fits the poster board just right. But anyway, I'm going to put something in there. And I'm going to turn off this light behind me and then turn on the little lamps, and we'll see how it looks. So there we have it. Now let's look at what it looks like zoomed in. So we can imagine not seeing the white, not seeing the carpet. It's not too bad. I think it's going to work. The only thing is this piece of poster board seems a little short for this purpose. I may end up going to a craft store and getting some paper. You can get really wide paper off of a roll. Comes in all colors. Some of them are all fancy. I think it looks darn good. I'm going to experiment with adding light from the top as well. Even if it's a string of white Christmas lights put overhead, I think it could be interesting. I have some black lights as well, they're purple, little purple Halloween lights. And I might try using a black background or a white background, putting something else in there. And yes, these shoes are going to be for sale, by the way. Saucony, as of unreleased colors. I'm gonna put those on eBay. Never worn, only tried on. My foot's too big. So yeah, lights from above, maybe even brighter lights. These are 60 watts, and these are the ones that are supposed to be like the Color True or whatever. I kind of like it. Mambo, turn around. There we go. Perfect. Seems like it could be a little brighter, but I'll definitely have to experiment with it. There's just with one light on. It's kind of a dramatic effect. I'm letting one of my lamps cool down because it is super hot. And I'm going to put in one of my neat little energy efficient fluorescent bulbs in that lamp and see if it really changes the way it looks. I wish I had 2 of them so I could put it on both sides, but I don't. So we'll see. Can you tell the difference? On the left, I put in one of the cool burning lights, which is great because I can get it. I'm sure you enjoy my fingers. I put in one of the cool burning lights on the left because I can get it really close to the fabric on the side and it doesn't hurt anything. I've still got a hot one on the other side. I think it looks good, and I think what I may do is actually, I had to add another piece in there. What I may do is actually buy another couple more of those spiral energy efficient cool burning bulbs and use those. I think it looks great. It's plenty bright. I like the color just fine. Looks good. Doesn't it make you thirsty? Hee-hee. Okay, I hope this has helped, and I hope some of you actually... It's got a nice shine, but it's not too much. Look at that. Anyway, I hope some of you actually make this thing. I think it's pretty neat. It was super cheap. The whole thing cost me under $10. And ta-da!